even he understands it's Bob
Right.
Havana Hasoga. Since he's playing by the rules of the game, so that shows that he's mevatel himself. But halacha is like the thing. I see it all the time. I learn the Kututar every week on the parasha. I see halacha being brought up all the time.
Yeah. The Alter Rebbe very well. I mean, first of all, not surprising. We're talking about the Alter Rebbe,
Yeah, sure.
and but also talk like Libnis the Hilchasa is like a big. Not only that to where ultimately, and it's a funny thing because that's Davke what does like the Birurim is Libun.
Sure.
What's yeah, it's a beautiful.
And also, he brings sometimes the Sukkah Shmaitas, but the Hilchas also, like, just to figure out shilas, to be melaben shilas, not only, not only just learn halacha, but, delve into all the things,
Yeah,
things which are not written by Mefurish.
yeah.
Did I lose you?
And on top of that, it's so much fun too.
It is, yeah.
It really is.
It is, for
Yeah.
sure. I don't know why, but I lost your screen. Why would that be?
You should have my. You don't see the screen share?
No, I did something. Shall I log out and come back again or what? Maybe
What do you see now? You see anything now?
just a plain screen Zoom with Zoom.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Is everybody else could see the thing? Here, let me put this.
Yeah, I see you.
And now you see
Okay,
it there?
1 second.
Yeah.
I
So
logged out and I logged in again.
okay. So maybe go out and
Yes,
come back.
yes, I did that.
You see it now?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me see. I don't know why I'm having a problem with this. Now I can't see you
I
since
would
you
log
put.
out and log back in.
No, I see, but I see the text took over the most of the thing. Maybe I could do it
Oh,
differently.
you have something pinned.
But it should, usually it's in. I mean, I don't know on a Mac it's in two different boxes, so then I can like expand
1 second.
wider. Yeah.
I have Windows. 1 second. Just okay. I got you.
Okay. Beautiful.
Everything's good now. Baruch Hashem.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're on page 10 in the Sikumim, and we're in the middle talking about what's the different obligations and the responsibilities of the tenant and the landlord. So now we go to Tikkun Veitzai Shaynis Almim Utalim. So this is we're going to Simin Shin Yudalit now. Different expenses. And
So yesterday was Chinyud base, right?
yeah,
Everything we did.
yeah.
Okay, just out of interest, what Seifim do we finish the whole Chinyud base yesterday?
Oh, let's see. We did Aleph. We did Bay. Yeah, we did Bay.
Just so I can get ready for tonight. That's to inside Chinyud base.
Yeah.
Aleph base. Amaske Vedo Stam Inu Yochelo Itzia there.
Aleph
Hey for
base.
sure, till hey for
I don't
sure.
think we did Gimel buffet, but it occasionally. Yeah.
משום שהמסקי חייב להודיע, עיקר חסך חייב להודיע.
Aleph
Because
is
the
Hey.
halachas up to Zayin we did. So Kotsuv.
Yeah.
There are halachas. I'm looking. Stam. I'm not for bias. I think
Looks like it looks like it jumped around a bit, but
jumped around. Yeah. So if you want to get ready for tonight, really, we would have to go through.
yeah, I mean it's not very dense in the Sma and the Shach in generally speaking. So I think it's gone. I think probably the best thing is go it would be to go over all the seifim inside and then maybe
And then do
and then
this man.
talk at least maybe not the very long ones at first. Do all the other ones, and then if you have
Yeah.
time, then go to the long ones. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe it's an idea to look over the tour Beis Yosef also to get an idea what the Gemara says and all that. No.
Let me see
I
how
don't
long
know.
we've been Shinyu Dalid. Shinyu Dalid is very very short. It's not even it's basically one page Shinyu Dalid. So
You want the tour Beis Yosef? Yeah.
well he'll go in the Torah B'Shem Yosef. I usually just go in when I'm preparing. I usually just go Mechaber Amos Meshach.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
and then
So we're gonna do
and by
Shinyu
then, when
Dalet.
you're going over the tour, you already have between the Sikumim and the inside, you already kind of have.
Much easier. Be much easier. Yeah.
By the way, interestingly, you remember you asked you brought up this thing yesterday
What?
of if he sells it in middle, but the guy prepaid the rent.
Yeah,
He would have to pay.
yeah.
There's I think a smeh that seems to imply that lav dafke.
Wow. That when he sold it to him, it's on the understanding that
meaning it seems like there's a possibility that the guy wouldn't get the way he's wording it. Let me see. I think it's.
By the way, whatever answer you're going to tell me now,
I think it's
whatever answer you're going to tell me now is going to be on the understanding that it's bestam. It's bestam. If you mach up with him. If you reach an understanding with him, then whatever you're going to tell me right now that he keeps the money or he has to give him the difference has to be bestam without any connection. Without discussing
it. I think it's completely disconnected whether it's bestam or it's kotzev. Meaning, because what if
no, I mean it's bestam. I didn't mean bestam in that way. I didn't bestam. I mean without any dialogue. I mean bestam. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to tell me right now that he can keep the money or he has to give him the money, it's going to be a svara.
You mean without any dialogue between the
any dialogue? That's what I'm by bestam.
Yeah, 100% right. If there's a dialogue,
the dialogue. So whatever the smeh says, he's talking about without any discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and really, most of this is because if there was a discussion, and if we were masking beinenu azay, then it's azay.
Hakol if he had tonight,
Meaning, if they were masking that, not only that, but he's gonna give him the money from the whole prior year of rent. Okay, if that was what we agreed to, that's what we yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but wait, whatever you're gonna tell me that the smeh says, I don't know what the smeh says. You haven't told me yet.
When you look in his wording, it seems like.
Which sif in the smeh are you talking about?
Let me see if it's sif cotton. 1 second. I think it's smeh sif cotton base.
Mirzen. ואפילו לא קוצר לו זמן, חולה?
Yeah. 1 second. One second. I feel like Zman. Fine.
ובסייפה שבעינן, דאם כבר הקדים הסכר השכר למזכיר, אין הלוקח יוכל להוציאוי עד שיכנס זמנוי, אף שאין נויסן שכירוס להלוקח כלל. Imagine, even if he doesn't give him the money, right? He can't take him.
Right. So it's but meaning so the mashmos of that is there's a possibility for him to not give him the money.
I hear what you're saying, but I learned a little different. I learned the pshat over here is that he can't take him out and make the moicher give money back to the loker. That's what I understood.
You could look at it, but from Stam his words, it's mashma. It could be the guy kept the money.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it seems to be that's upgeret. That he stays with the money is one thing.
But here's the thing also. Remember, we could look at it that Take, the seller, is required to give the buyer the money.
Yeah.
Let's say for whatever reason he didn't. Okay, that has nothing to do with the responsibility of the landlord and the tenant. Fine, the guy who sold it to you didn't give you the money. It's not the tenant's problem.
That's the way I understood it. Yeah.
But either way, whatever happened, it's not the tenant's problem. Now, it doesn't mean lav dafke. Is he saying that the seller's allowed to keep the money? But who cares? Let's say he did for whatever reason. He's not allowed to, and he did.
Yeah, it's going to show does he have the rights to throw the guy out?
No, because the bottom line is it's your property, and when you took it over, you took over whatever agreement he had with the tenant.
Right.
A good gesagt. Good gesagt.
Baruch Hashem. It's a very beautiful thing. I think I'm going to look this over again, bli neder, and I just ich hab
I'm telling you, in this sugi, the diukim are like are.
Oh, I'm you know, I'm like a wolf. I'm looking over here, everything like I'm not letting anything go. I like your diukim on the you know the lashenis. You have to, which I'm you know,
I mean,
which helps a lot.
when he used a lashon, he used a lashon, a specific lashon for a reason.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Seder.
so at now we're going to talk about different repairs and different expenses. So who has to do them? Is the responsibility of the landlord or the responsibility of the tenant?
Okay, this is Shinu Dalet, you said, right?
Shinu Dalet, it's on page 10 in the Sikumim.
Yeah.
So the obligation of the landlord to keep a dwelling that is suitable for dwelling in it, or in a wider sense, we could say suitable for the use for which it's being rented. Meaning, if it's if you're renting a warehouse, it doesn't have to be suitable for living in, but it has to be suitable for whatever the use is that it's made.
Yes.
The Mishnah Masechus Bava Metzia, Amaskir Bayis Lachaveri, Amaskir Chayov Bedeles Benagur V'Manu. So the Mishnah says if you rent a dwelling to your friend, so the landlord is obligated in a door, in a bolt, and in a lock. And anything that is that requires a professional. Something that usually people DIY, right? They
Do it yourself, yeah.
Light bulb, right? That would be like the classic example.
Yeah.
Now back then, I think people, when you look at the different examples, so obviously back then it would be different what your average person would know how to do, didn't know how to do, what you need. Or Gemara, in the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanon, the sages taught Hamaskir Bais Lachavere, Maskir Chayiv Lahamid Leidlosis. So he has the landlord is obligated to install doors, Lifteach Leichalainis, to open windows, meaning in I believe
to carve from the wall to
glass. Yeah, we're talking about the lighting.
Carve in the wall, yeah. Lechazik Tikra to yeah.
Azik Tikra to strengthen the ceiling or the roof. Lismich Lekeda, and to make sure the beams have proper support, right? It shouldn't collapse, basically. The Seicher Chayav Lasis Sulam. The tenant has to make a ladder, right? If he wants to go, let's say it has like a flat roof that you could use or whatever. Lasis le make it to make the guardrail.
Yeah.
Mariziv, right? Which is I believe this is the
pipes.
Gutters. I think
the gutters. Yeah, the gutters exactly.
And to plaster the roof, meaning like with waterproofing plaster, this kind of thing. And based on this, the Rambam Shulchan Aruch, right? Hamaskir Bais Lachavere, Chayiv Lahamid Leidlosis, Lehiskin Dlosis Pipsachim. He has to fix doors in the openings. To open up windows that went bad, meaning Chalolim Shenas Bekiris is there's what do you call it? The hollows that they made in the holes that they made in the wall. And they use it like a window. And the way they're made, they would after time they would close up, and you would have to open them up again. And to strengthen the roof, the ceiling, and to put support on a beam that broke. Right, when you have the beams in the so meaning when he's talking about tikra, he's talking about the actual like cement or plaster of the roof. Well, not like the waterproofing plaster, but the actual the mortar that makes up the roof spout was made out of beams and mortar. So, and to support a broken beam so it shouldn't collapse. The last is nagar, right, which is briach. It's like a beam. By bifnim, right? Like the beam that they use to close the door from inside. Manul, and the lock, right? That's to lock the house from outside. And also if the mortar of the roof or the beams of the roof opened by arba tfachim, they opened four tfachim by 4 tfachim, chayav l'taknei. So he has to also he's chayav to repair this, the landlord.
Yeah.
Because these are all basic essential things that make it a livable place. And so too, anything similar, anything that affects the midvarim shehem ma'isa uman ve'im ikar gadol davar basisi, anything that requires an expert to do, and is a primary element of what make it be yeshiva sabatim v'chatzedus, that makes it a usable, right? That makes it fitting for its use. That in its essential use, it does that. So if anything that's broken and makes it essentially not usable in its needed use, the landlord has to do it if it's a ma'isa uman. ובכלל זה תיקונים הנדרשים בחצר, בחדר מדרג של בית משותף שמוטלים על המעסקן. Same thing when you have like if you have like say an apartment building and something has to be repaired in the chatzar. So again, it's same or in this stairs. So it's the same. Now again, first of all, nowadays usually in the contract and based on local law, there's obligations that are put on a thing, and as we'll see, it really goes according to what the norm is in the place. So for example, even nowadays, what a landlord has to provide you in Russia and what he has to provide you here, totally different. But the bottom line is according to halacha, the way it is that anything that's the essential use, whether it's the chutzner, whether it's a warehouse, if he's lost his essential use of it, he's not able to use it in the way it's meant to be used, then the landlord is chayiv to provide it with this. In fact, otherwise it's really like a mekach tos. Because it doesn't have its essential use. It's palgum.
I see over here is a shinui from the Gemara. Maybe not.
Yeah,
the mazivo vehatikro be'arba tfochim chayv lesakno. He seems to put the maziva of the rooftop be'arbot tfochim al kolponim, whatever that means. Be'arbot tfochim is chayv lesakno. Muss das mesaken sein. So it seems that it's not exactly, I think, from the time of the Gemara to the time of the Rambam already changed a little bit, I think, Is that a diuk or not?
Yeah. That's very
Ameratzische Shaila. Ich frage Ameratzische Shaila.
No, it's very good. No, it's tak a diuk. Look at
the smell on this, I see.
Look at order 25.
Yeah, I began to read it. Okay, you want to go ahead?
Lashon HaRambam b'din tikra u'maziva sheniftecha sheni melashon HaShulchan Aruch. Right, he's bringing a diuk between actually the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch within Lashon. But
even that dots.
Same thing. Yeah. V'zel Lashon HaRambam ha'maskir aliyah lachavere. He uses a maskir aliyah lachavere.
Okay, the second floor, right? The second floor.
Right, and opened at 4 tvachim by 4 tvachim or more. Sherit pas ha'aliyah hiskalkala b'shetach shel 4 tvachim or 4 tvachim chayiv l'takin hatikra hakedesh hatikra b'nuya mehen, right? Shemeshamshes kiritz bo la'aliyah. So the Rambam is that what's he talking about? He's talking about that when it's a second floor.
Yeah, but not stam the rooftop, but he's not talking about the roof, the maziva on the roof, the way the Gemara was talking about.
So he talks about chayv l'takin hatikra v'hamaziva kisui hatit sh'ala kedis. Right.
I think it's the same thing over here. The maziva and the tikra means what's the tikra by the ground floor happens to be on the floor.
The tikra is the beams and the maziva is the mortar that's in between.
Mortar, sure. We have it in Masechta Sukkah, no?
Yeah.
Tembo maziva. Remember that? There's maziva is the tit, no? Right?
Why shamaziva chizuk tikra? It's part of what upholds the beams. It's part of what the strength of the roof of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Im kain barambam. So if so, so we can understand the Rambam. Shedin zeh hu b'mikra shel schirus aliyah shal gabi bayis. The kosav asmeh sivkot and hey shekach yesh lefarish gam b'shulchan aruch. Ulefi zeh muven madua shiur. It continues on the next page. הפסיכה שחייב המזכיר לסכין הוא 4 טפחים, שכאשר נפתחו 4 טפחים מחוסר לבעל העלייה, מקיים תשמש לכלי אחד, וזה נחשב פגם בסיסי שהמזכיר מחויב לסכיני. So
he wants to say that's what the Rambam
about Dafke, he's talking about where you have a second floor.
So then they're at odds with the with the Gemara.
Meaning, well, because it seems like the Gemara is talking about Hamaskir Bayis.
And not Aliyah.
Right? And so by Hamaskir, right.
The Shaila is what would the Rambam and the Beis Yosef hold?
You have to, what's interesting, because he said L'chazik L'tikra still, but he doesn't, but Lav Dafk, does that mean also, but the Maziva also? In other words, he has to make sure that the Tikra won't collapse, the beams won't collapse. The Rambam is adding Vamaziva. Why Maziva? Because if it's crumbled, the Maziva is crumbled 4 by 4, as opposed to a ceiling Ichves, maybe it lets a little rain in, something like this, which back then I think wasn't, you know what I'm saying, wasn't quite the same like we think of it now. If you have a little drip in your ceiling, it's a whole thing. Right? Back then, if you had a little space, something was coming in, it's not a big deal. But the Maziva he's adding, but he's talking about when? By an Aliyah. By if you're not on the second floor, if you're only on the first, why? Because if it's crumbled 4 by 4, you could in that space you cannot put a keli on, you can't put furniture on there, you can't put a thing on, you can't put anything on there. So that makes an unusable. I'm very impressed. You caught that. It's a very tiny change in lush.
Yeah. So how do we learn? How do we finish over here? How should we?
So according to this man who holds that the Shulchan Aruch also holds that way. So if it's a first floor, then we could just read the Gemara straight. That the tikra he's chayiv, meaning the beams of the ceiling, he has to make sure they're not going to collapse.
In other words, according to the Beis Yosef and the Rambam, the whole reason why they were worried about the tikra maziva only because it serves as a floor for the second floor.
Not the tikra, the maziva only.
The maziva, yeah.
And the tikra is
the maziva of the well, it's the
maziva.
Yeah.
Right. It's the maziva for a guy on the first floor doesn't make a difference.
But the second floor,
but it doesn't bring it. But by the balaliyah, the guy who's on the top floor,
it's his floor.
That tikra we're talking about it's his floor.
It's his floor, yeah.
But the guy on the first floor, his floor is dirt. It's not a problem.
But in the case where there's only one floor, right? Like the case of the Gemara, maybe the Beis Yosef and the Rambam would agree to that you don't need to put maziva.
That's what's mashman ismeh. Not just that. Remember, the floor is dirt. You're not worried about the floor crumbling.
Right.
Only when it's on a second floor. Crumbling is a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. So what happens if the tenant is quiet? Shtikas haseichel einu nechshavas mechila. Haramo heir shamaskir chayev bechol elu afilu im haseicher yoda al halikoyim elu kishenichnas agor b'bayis. So even the tenant knows about these issues, right? We're talking about these issues that we specified above. He knows about them. And he didn't say nothing. We don't say that he's being meichelet. Ella, yes lo niach sheshosak hu mishum shesomach al hanoch pshute sheim sikmu b'nei maskiros bayis lemegurim hamaskir yamid lei bayis shiroi lemeguri adam. So fine, it has these things. But so he's assuming the guy's gonna fix them because obviously these are things that make it a problem for basic living. So we go by we're totally on the understanding that he walked in and he didn't say nothing because he assumed that the masculine is going to fix them. And when one of those things that we spoke about is missing, the roof is collapsed, it doesn't have a door, and anybody can walk in and out. These things, it's not considered a house. It's not considered a proper dwelling place. So now we come to the actual halacha, meaning not the actual.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rabbi Michael. I see from this that if there's any faulty corner of the house that he was not mesaken, we can always say that the soicher was soimach on that he would be a mensch, and al pi halacha he would do whatever he has to fix in.
Right, meaning why would I rent you a house that's not a house?
Yeah, but does that include a bad smell coming out of the house or anything like that? Is that also included in?
You know what? Based on what we said before, that's
menschlich, no?
It's a pegima that he's chayiv to tell somebody else about. Yeah. It would be so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's grounds for him to
that's A and B today for sure.
Yeah.
Meaning today nowadays, right? If I show you a house, and you see that the heating is not on. Wait, you saw the heating was not on. You didn't say nothing. No, you can't rent somebody a house without a heater.
Yeah, you can't find a. You can't say sovev lekibel. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work to say sovev lekibel.
Nowadays, the truth is, again, a lot of these things are not going to be an issue because let's say, fine, it has heating, right? It's a forced air system. Let's say the central air is broken, right? Generally speaking, that's going to be in a lease contract that it says not working, central air not working. You have to put window air conditioning.
Yeah.
Right, bichlal in leases you specify these things.
Yeah,
and it would also that would depend from place to place. For example, if you're in Florida and you're giving a person a place that the air conditioning isn't working, you're going to assume the guy's going to fix it because it's not livable in Florida without an air conditioning.
I wonder if it's within the rights of the soicher to take off the rent if the air conditioning is broken.
I think it's gonna come to those things.
Yeah, how we would do it, I don't know, but I think it's within his rights. Especially
listen, similar to how we spoke before. Let's say that one room is unusable, right? Imagine. And essentially that's a makachtos, really, especially if he needed it. But he has the right to tell him, you know what? So I'll pay you less. I'll live with you. Remember we spoke about this. If it was like, say he lost the use of one room,
instead of being a 3-bedroom apartment, it's
a 2-bedroom apartment now. Right.
So maybe you should make an adjustment over there.
Right. So we had that before.
Yeah.
Okay. So kosav aruch hashulchan. So this is very important. This is the halacha l'maisa for today, really. B'chol makom u'makom lefi minhagei chayiv hamaskil l'takin dvarim hakavuim. Right, and every single place, whatever the established things are that are a landlord's responsibilities, he must fix, regardless of if it's one of the things above or not. Whatever is the usual for that time and place. Like in our country, right? So you're talking about in
Russia.
Yeah.
It was in Russia, yeah.
Yeah. To have doubled windows in the wintertime. Sure. I don't think he's talking about double paned windows. That was later than him, I think. But he's talking about they would have like a window and then another, either like a wood or something in Russia. If you look, even like in the villages, right? They have the window.
And then shutters.
They have a wood, and then they have a wood
shutter. They're called shutters, so sure.
Yeah. Or for example, here
you still have them in Europe.
Yeah,
in Europe, you still have them. Yeah, it's good for the sun and it's good for the winter also.
Right.
It keeps up the cold, and also if the sun is very,
nowadays we have double paned windows, whatever it is. But the bottom and the truth is, in some older houses they retain the original nice windows. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. But the bottom line, so for here, it means he has to maintain a house that's reasonably insulated.
It's comfortable. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
No.
So you have 1 second. No, I skipped. Right? And call a shaykh lahem to make sure that the heating or the furnace or whatever it is working with all of its accessories that it's required to work. To in the autumn days to cover the
To plaster.
they would,
Atiach is to.
in the autumn they would they would replaster it if it was they would,
Yeah.
if the plaster was coming off, and they would replaster because that's part of the insulation of the house.
Release
And
offer.
to pour dirt, right? Because after a while the dirt comes away from the bottom of the house, and cold could seep in under the walls. So they would pack dirt more on around.
It's a kind of insulation. It's like insulating the house.
Yeah.
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 So in today's day and age, you need all this also in it, maybe in different ways. You need it.
Different ways, right? Like he says, "V'chol kayetze b'zeh," right? Meaning whatever, and again, and v'chol kayetze b'zeh means whatever in our time, in our place, is the norm that a landlord has to take care of to keep a place in its basic shape. Then, so this is the obligation of the landlord. Kileimar im yesh minhag yidua b'isei makim haminhag kiveya. Right? If whatever the local norms are, then you go by the minhag. Shekasher shnei anoshim sikmu b'neim al schiras. Right? Because like we said, like you said before,
Yeah.
Essentially everything we're talking about here is bistam. Is we didn't specify. Because if I specify, okay, so now I made clear that this was our understanding when we did this. Right? So bistam, when I'm renting a house, right? Kasher shnei anoshim sikmu b'neim al schiras bistam. Right? He uses this word bistam.
Yeah.
No, this is not the. I don't think he's. I don't know if he's quoting exactly at this point anymore. The first paragraph was quoting, but still.
Bestam over here doesn't mean to say without a date. Or bestam means
without a.
Normal mention. Yeah.
Yeah, without being mefarit. Yeah.
I would tell you. I don't know of any mepharisis, but I would go one step ahead. I would say that if the soicher was mefarit on something just out of the blue, like don't forget to get me insulated properly, it doesn't mean to say that he should have been mefaret on all the other things if he didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Also, yeah, right.
Because that regarded, the only reason it was mefaret one thing is just to give him a reminder, but it doesn't mean to say that he's mafkia the obligation.
Because before we said, if he was quiet about these things. Even more so, yeah. So you're saying even more so. Let's say he mentioned one of the things, but he didn't mention the other.
But he didn't mention everything. He's not mechuyev to mention everything. He just says Stam. He mentioned
this is the general. Unless it was mefarit when they agreed on it, otherwise, then yeah.
Yeah.
Good gesagt.
Yeah.
So kasher shtei anoshim sigmu b'neim al schiras b'stam yesh lo niach shahisa daitum al haminhag hamekubel. Right? Unless we discussed it otherwise, I'm assuming we're going by what the normal thing is for our place. Bizmanenu aminag amekubel shamaskir deg lechol davar amaakev miladur kederech diras reiv bnei adam. Kegoin dud chashmali, you have to have a water heater. Hasaka trisim. The hasaka is what again? Let me look up what's.
Hasaka is a warming up. Something with
but I think it means like a regular heater, like not
furnace, no?
Like a furnace, yeah, like not a water heater, but a modern day furnace.
Yeah.
Trisim is I think what's it, shutters? What do you call it?
Yeah.
Shutters, yeah. The chain.
Trisim means shutters. Sometimes in the Gemara, it's Bale Trisim is talking about shields, talking about the Chachomim. They're called Bale Trisim. It means because they are like they guard the Torah. So Trisim means a shield.
Right, because a shutter shields you from the sun.
Shields, yeah, that's what it means.
And it's also like a shape a little bit like a shield.
But I just wanted to know that the Gemara calls and the Mishnah calls Talmid Chachomim Bale Trisim because they protect the Torah. Because Ben Bircham Toshel Torah. They're the shielders,
Yeah, they protect it. Yeah.
Yeah, to protect.
Ein Seidigim and also bars. In Meduber became a Karkish Sorich Bas Seidigim. If we're talking about a ground floor that needs bars, the Mnias Knisha Shel Ganovim to stop Ganovim from entering. Masha Ein came became a Goveya. Where on the other hand, in a higher floor, Sheyeshnam Harbe Diris Seidigim, that a lot of apartments have will not have bars. And by the way, this does not apply in New York.
Nope.
New York, even the sixth floor has bars because they can climb on a fire escape. So actually, in New York, even on the sixth floor, if it's the norm, you need
Crown Heights. I remember seeing them. I mean, I've been there in a while.
yeah,
But
my daughter is on she's on the second floor. She has bars. My brother is on the sixth floor. He has bars.
Wow. And they have locks and everything. They have everything.
Because they could climb up a fire escape.
Exactly. Yeah. And believe me, they didn't have the fire escape. They
They can climb up the gutters, so
they know how to do it.
So if it's in a place, right, like in Pittsburgh, it would be unusual to have. In fact, in Pittsburgh, we don't even have bars on the first floor.
Like in Muncie, people leave their what do you call it, the cars open.
Yeah, I remember in Los Angeles, we had bars.
Yeah, huh?
Well, a kid, we grew up till I was 10 years old. We were in Los Angeles, and I remember we had everybody had bars. We had not only bars, we had bars, and even the door, the front door also first had like a bars, and then the door.
Wow.
Yeah. Why? Because that area is not. Right. All goes right. So he's giving So he's giving specific examples of the types of things. But at the end of the day, even a higher floor would depend. It would depend where and when and what. Right, and therefore the tenant, if it's in a place that it's unusual to have bars on a higher floor, the tenant cannot demand that he puts it in unless they specify it ahead of time. Again, obviously, if they specify it ahead of time, whatever they specify, it works. Right. In fact, even if the floor is not usable, if we specified before and it says, listen, the floor is not usable, it's as is. If you want, you're going to have to fix the floor if you want to use it. This is how I'm renting it. That's why I'm renting it to you for $300 a month. Fine, no problem. But Bistam, it goes everything by what's the norm.
Stam Zaitika Shaila talks about over here tikkunim, right? Bestam, without going into specifics, do simple wear and tear also a chiyuv of the thing? Like, for example, the bulb goes out, Is this brought down in Shulchan Aruch?
A bulb going out, it's not mafriya in any way to you generally in a major way to
right.
In other words,
so it has to be tikkunim that the mamish mafriya, no?
It doesn't, right? If I'm in Brooklyn in an apartment on the first floor and I don't have bars, it's taking it out of the gedder of being a livable house, right?
So, but I'm saying, there's sometimes, like in the plumbing, right? Sometimes the seat of the, what do you call it, of the faucet needs to be replaced, something like that. Is that up to but that's simple wear and tear.
Yeah, no. So nowadays, yeah, the generally speaking, the masket would be chayiv in that because that's the norm. The norm. Right. First of all, nowadays it's not. This is not like back in the day where everybody just listen. So I'm going to go to Lowe's, grab a faucet, and change it. What do I care?
Yeah.
Not everybody knows how to do that anymore. Nowadays, generally speaking, there's a super, and the landlord sends a guy to swap out your thing if it's broken. And the normal and not just that, the normal accepted thing, right? If you're talking about in Ukraine, in the villages where just outside, he can go and there's a pump and he can pump his water, right? And that's the norm. Fine. Nowadays in the United States, if your sink is not working, it's not. It's considered not livable. That's our kind of place.
Right. Yeah. So even okay, even if it's not, everything's considered ma'aseh uman today. It says over here, like.
Well, but if it's a light bulb, even today is not considered ma'aseh uman. Now, Now listen, it could be it's an old lady and what's it called? And listen, the landlord she could call him and ask a favor, and he could do it. right?
Yeah.
And if he's a nice guy, he's going to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, the poor old lady. I'm not only that. Chas v'sholom, she should get on a ladder and lose her balance. I'm going to
Yeah, right. It's
touch it. Don't touch it. I'm
a
sending."
little common sense and menschlichkeit should be exercised
Right.
for sure.
But there's a difference between menschlichkeit and obligations.
Right.
Okay, let's say she can't change the light bulb. Fine, so let her hire somebody.
Right.
Let her ask a neighbor for a favor to change it, but he's not obligated.
Right. Right.
I usually put a stipulation in all my leases. Landlord is not responsible in replacing light bulbs. I just don't want to be dealing with it.
No, because you know what? Everything we're talking about here, like your father just said before, everything we're talking about here could have been avoided with a conversation. Meaning, if we were mefarit, if we have a contract as mefarit, then it doesn't, then it supersedes even what the norms are for the place. So that's why the hardest thing is that we're mefarit as much as we can. What's the landlord's response right now in a property lease? What's
Would it be a situation where you didn't stipulate anything? What would be the case?
Right. So like I mean, and there's two reasons for that. I mean, nowadays really the best thing, make a contract. The thing is, at the end of the day, lav dafka, are you going to be able to get every single eventuality in a contract?
Very difficult. Who's in charge of the snow? It's too much. A lot of stuff.
Right.
What I try to do, by the way, in these situations, every single time a situation arises, I'll eat the cost of this. You know, if it really should be on the tenant, not on me.
Right, because first of all, it's smart business.
What do you say?
First, it's menschlichkeit, and menschlichkeit is smart business also.
For sure. But I will do is if it's something that I really couldn't be bothered, not because I want to be neglectful. If it's something that don't bother me for these little things, I will have like a master list of all items are being thrown on with time over the years, and then every single time I do a contract, I make sure to include all the new updates. Just like your phone, you have updates to your phone because there's certain bugs that happen along the way.
Right.
So Apple, whatever system you're using, they know. Okay, we're gonna have a whole list of the next thing.
I'm gonna put this in for next time. Yeah.
Yeah, everything from this and beforehand. That's all I can.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because Bichlal, like if you look, I mean here, it's not as if you look for example, if you look in Hilchos Eidus and Hilchos Dayanim and all these areas, right? You'll learn this whole complicated thing, and then it says what is Akel b'Eiseni Adayin. So then why tell me all this? Why? Because the dayan you still have to understand the basic idea of how to look at a situation. Right, when an argument comes up, okay, so I've already seen a smeh that talks about this kind of an argument, right? So even if it's talking about
yeah,
but still the point is that dayan has hopefully learned enough enough Torah and B'Sesem and Shulchan Aruch v'chulu that he understands how to look at this thing and what's right in this situation. So now Kosovar Amot. So now what happens? We were talking about when the guy moves in. That's what we've really been talking about until now. We've been talking about what when the guy moves into a new dwelling, how does the place have to be? What happens if something broke or during the lease? Because as we said before, it's generally considered la halacha that schira is like a mecher. That means it's your property now. I have to give you the property in a usable situation, but now something happened. It happened to your property. Now the truth is that in our day and age, again, it's really gonna go back to what the Aruch HaShulchan said. It all goes by what's the norm, because being that what we're talking about is ultimately is what was our understanding from the onset. And the norm nowadays is if something breaks in the middle, the landlord has to take care of it. But again, we're talking about without this. Let's say it's in a place that doesn't have this norm or this understanding. What do you do? The landlord fixed these things. All these, he made sure it had the doors and the windows and the support beams. And now that it breaks, during the rental period. So now, according to Rama, im Omar le bayis zeh, if when their agreement says this dwelling or this apartment or this house, whatever, ein tzarich lahamid le'acher. He does not have to go and fix him a new one. Omar le bayis stam, if he said a dwelling, an apartment, then tzarich letakne, call you maskirus. Why? Because the implication is, I think he'll explain. Meaning, l'divrei Rama, according to the Rama, kasher siknu b'neim al haskoras bayis misuyam. When they agreed on a specific house, chayvas hamaskir lahamid bayis haroy lemigurim hirak b'shah shaseicher nichmas ladira. I'm renting you this
Sorry,
house.
I got lost. Where are you now?
The last paragraph of 11.
אבל yeah. Because I'm thinking I'm asking דברים האלו, ופרטים ושוכן noch, wenn ich ברוך תויכי מהסחירוס, אם אומר לבית זה, אין צורך להעמיד לו אחר. Who said by זה? Like what?
Told him I'm renting you, or in the contract, whatever it is, or their agreement, he said, buy this house, this dwelling, this apartment.
Then
he does not have to fix it.
Why? What's the svara?
Explain it in a second. If he says bias, he has to fix it. Why? Keleimar. Ledivrei harama, kasher sikmu b'neim al askoras bias misuyam. Chayvas hamaskir lahamid bias haroy lemigurim. He rak b'shosh haseich nichlas ladira. Right? Just because remember, according to halacha, a rental is just like a mecher. If I sell you something, and now you broke it. Listen, I sold it to you in good condition. I sold it to you; it was perfect. So the same thing. If I said bayizeh, I'm required to move into a house that's all the essentials are there and fixed and working.
If anything goes wrong in the middle. Okay.
It's yours. It's your property. It's your bad luck.
Right.
It broke on you. What do you want me to tell you? If it broke on me, it would be my bad luck. But it's your property now. It's your property through the whole period of rental.
You have to fix it.
You own it for that period. So it's your bad luck. Rak b'mikra shesikmu al bayis stam mechuyev hamaskir letikunim b'chol tkufas aschiros. Why? Shehasikum al bayis stam mashma'oi shehamaskir mechuyev lidleg lemegurav shel haseicher b'chol tkufa. Bli kesher lebayis zer or lebayis acher. Meaning, I'm not renting an apartment from you. I am renting use of a dwelling space from you. You put me in this particular 2-bedroom apartment, fine, whatever. For all I care, put me across the hall in a different 2-bedroom apartment. I don't care. You said bias. I'm renting from you a dwelling. So a dwelling. So fine. If this one broke, you have to put me in another one. Bias. Meaning I'm not. I didn't buy from you the actual property for that period. I bought from you use of a property for a year. I bought the use from you, not the actual property. If I just said bias. If he said bias, now what I acquired from you was this particular apartment. And I gave you this particular apartment in good. I didn't sell you the use of the apartment. I sold you mamish the apartment itself.
Yeah.
So that's the Ramosdi.
So therefore, it's your chais, your headache.
Yeah, because the buy is there, and I gave it to you in perfect condition. So now it's your bad mazel that it broke on you. Let me tell you, if it broke,
buy is it's only how do you say reshus shimush in the
right,
place?
It's usage. I'm selling you the usage of it.
Yeah, but leinian mechira, the both it's like a mechira on both, no? Like in terms of.
But the question is, did I sell you the house or did I sell you the use of the house?
Yeah, but in both cases there would be a sale over here, so to speak, right? Because otherwise. You could throw him out in the middle, even when it's
right.
not so.
But you can't. No, by the way, the truth is, if you think about it,
yeah.
According to this, in theory, if he wanted to remodel it, right, where we said he can't even give him a nicer house.
That was my question. Yeah.
According to this, if he just said bias, he should be able to. I didn't sell you a house. I said bias, right? So in theory, and especially being that we see a pattern here. that they were always trying to balance out the rights of the landlord and the tenant.
So the question is, if there's a lease over here, if there's a lease involved, the question is, because he didn't say by there, can he remove him, put him in somewhere else?
Yeah, very good question. Very big. Right, because
that's what my original question was, because in terms of bias, I'm giving you a bias. I never said bias there. You know what I'm saying?
So if you can tie it to me, that I only bought the usage from you, then in theory you can tie it back to me. Oh, only the usage. Yeah, I'm putting you in a different apartment, same usage.
Right.
Yeah, l'chura.
And I'd like to hear a tshuva from an Achron regarding moving costs and stuff like that. You know, because he'll have to shoulder everything. The poor guy, the soicher.
Right.
You know, I said I'd give you moving you is your headache. You know, I don't have to move you. I only promised you a place of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or do you say that's not something bestam? Obviously, we're talking about this.
Or would you say that's a cost of the use? So the landlord has to.
Yeah. So yes, maladun bazeh. I'm saying there's
100%. It's a real. Not only that. That I could really see as being a question that's shaykh nowadays in a real life case. Meaning, look, let's say I have a building. And I have numerous 2-bedroom apartments in there, and something happens in your apartment. The floor beam breaks or something. It's not livable, right? And now I'm going to tell you. So I mean, first of all, the first question would be, mitzad the tenant, can he say mekach tos and just leave, right? Meaning, does he have to give the landlord the opportunity to move him to another apartment? And that would also depend on bayis or bayis.
Right, and that's one thing. The other thing is the moving costs.
Right, was our lease for a 2-bedroom apartment at 1510 Carroll, or was it for apartment 2F at 1510 Carroll?
Huh.
Right, it would make a difference.
Right, and Nochazach is who's going to pay for
now let's say I'm allowed to move you to another 2-bedroom apartment. Taka, who's paying the moving costs?
That's a prime concern, because and let's say the guy says I don't have where to move you, so says okay, I'll find where to move, but you pay my moving costs.
Right, because of you that I have to move.
Exactly. You know, that's a real today's shaila. This is the kind of thing that's.
Right, or do we say mekach tos? We never had a deal in the first place.
Right, because it was with the understanding.
These are taka things that could come up these days, like mamish nowadays. This could come up, this kind of thing.
This is. I'm sure the Achronim talk about this, about the moving costs. I mean, it's such a real thing. Yeah. Weiter.
Okay, so weiter. Haramah hisif l'tzayin. The simin shin yud beis if yud zayin in the mechaber shom mevur shel das shulchan aruch gam b'mikre shesikmu b'neihem al askoras bais misuyam mechuyev ha'mas l'tikun mechol tkuvas ha'schirus. According to the shulchan aruch, even if they did say bais, it doesn't make a difference. It's still the understanding is that the landlord is going to provide a place that continues to be livable throughout the whole Tkufas Chirus. The cost of Aruch HaShulchan shahaminog hamikubal ba'arotis Ashkenaz kedas HaShulchan Aruch. So the bottom line is the halacha is, according to the Shulchan Aruch, that it doesn't make a difference if he said bayizeh, right? Bayizeh is the same as bayis, even though take he's renting the property from you, but it essentially in the property is included use of property. So he can't just say, I rented you a property.
So you don't go like the Ramah, in other words.
Right,
the Ashkenazim don't usually follow the Ramah.
Like the Ramah, if we go according to the Shulchan Aruch, that the usage, essentially the usage is part of the property.
Yeah.
But it's not a separate thing. There's the property and there's the usage like the Ramah wants to say. It's
Yeah.
I'm renting from you this property along with its usage. Shekol davar shemechuyev hamaskir lidig le betchilas haschilus, that everything that the landlord has to worry about for the tenant in the beginning before he moves in. Mechuyev gam letakne b'meshech tekufas haschilus im ira bekilkul. If one of these again, we're not talking about light bulbs, we're talking about if something that in our place and time is considered an essential element, right? That would have made a problem when he moved in. He must also repair them throughout the whole tkufa of schirus.
So the moving costs for sure would be a shayla nowadays, you know?
Yeah. Right? So either because it was something that was the landlord's fault, or sorry, not the landlord's fault, a natural thing, and something that happened by itself.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? Wear and tear, no?
Well, that's the side. No, not wear and tear. He's talking about like an actual break. Something broke, mamish, right? Or also wear and tear. That meaning, yes, it happened. It broke when the tenant was using it. But okay, flushing the toilet is regular use. If the toilet breaks, no, but you were the one flushing the toilet. No, that's regular use.
But if you clogged it up, it's a different story. You know, then it's
like if the tenant is negligent.
Yeah,
then that's different. Yeah, now it's on you. You broke it, and it's not a thing that's made to be used this way.
Yeah.
Avol imakilkon neglam because it's mipshia shalaseicher. Right? His kid threw a hammer at the wall. Right? A window which broke, meaning it didn't break, it didn't crack because of the cold or something like this, or somebody threw something at it. Or like we know the signs in Eshel, right? Na lolis rock, what's it called? B'sherotim, right? And then they say it in French also, just to make sure the Frenchies know also, just so we all know.
Yeah, because that clogs the bathroom.
Right. So if you used, right, these quote unquote, you stuffed a bunch of these quote unquote flushable wipes in there, or something that, especially in somewhere like Ashel, where it has a sign that specifically tells you, right, that using it in this way will mess it up. And or your kid stuffed a whole bunch of toilet paper in there, and now it got clogged up. Now the landlord does not have to fix this. Ela ala seicher. Right? But now let's go back to the original rule of the Aruch HaShulchan. Right? I'll give you an example. In Florida, right? If you go, there's like these, the fancy condos on Collins over there, right?
Yeah.
And especially, remember, a lot of it is older people, whatever. They have a guy who not only does he handle the, he keeps the super there, he keeps the hallways clean, he makes sure everything's what's it called. If the elevator's not working, he deals with the guy. If you need a light bulb change, you call this guy, he'll come, no problem. He's told to do this. Why? Because
don't worry. These are alta kakas. They're paying for it in the maintenance.
Right, and they're paying. Part of what they're paying is for this. Right.
Of course, I'll call Soros over.
And so again, it goes back to the thing of the Aruch HaShulchan. What is the norm? Meaning, again, assuming we didn't like by Avi was saying. Listen, I have all these things, right? And more. I have all these things in the contract. Okay, so if it's in the contract, now again, you could decide als menschlichkeit and als good business, and because you want the reputation as a building that takes care of people, v'chulu, right? If you might do it, but in terms of obligations, if it's not in the contract and it's bistam, so it depends. What's normal here? What's the normal thing? Do we change the light bulbs or not? Okay. So now things that the tenant, what are the obligations? So these were we're talking about the obligations of the landlord. How about the obligations of the seicher, of the tenant? Rambam v'Shulchan Aruch, ha-seicher chayov lases maika. al gag habayis shemitzvas maike mutelis al mishigar babayis. Right, and since the mitzvah is on the person living there, naturally we can assume that the understanding when I rented it to you is that if you want a mica, you're going to put the mica because it's your mitzvah. O mezuzah and the mezuzah, shemezuzah ain't a chayvas habayis elo chayvas hador. Or l'sakein makim ha-mezuzah mishalei, as well as to prepare where to the spot where to affix the mezuzah. Right, the haskin makim milanicha. V'cheinim rotza lases sulam. As if he wants to make a ladder or a gutter, like we said before, right? Right, he wants to waterproof it better, so he puts this. This he does himself. Again, these are all. This is not really that relevant for today, because not only that, I'm generally speaking, if I'm renting a house, I'm not allowed to make even such kinds of. To start putting gutters and micas and things like this, you're not allowed to make any permanent changes to a property nowadays. Generally, when you're in it, that's nowadays the general understanding and the general way that property laws work with rentals.
I had a recent situation where I had a tenant. He asked me if it's okay to hang a few things up. Standard stuff. Okay, you hang a picture, you do a little this, a little that. The guy, when he left, the whole place was like this. I had to replaster the whole place.
Riddled with nails.
It was disgusting, and it turned into a real situation. But you told me I could hang a few things. I said a few things doesn't mean that when you leave. But he was like, "Well, when you leave,
right. Not everybody realizes that for a picture, you don't need a 3-inch framing nail. You ever seen that? It's like a huge thing sticking out like this wide.
He also put shelving. He said, "I can hang some stuff. I hang them up." So he put shelving, and then when he took everything off, there was the marks of everything there, and so I couldn't even put a little the whole thing didn't be black. Then the paint I could no longer find paint of the same exact color because Benjamin Moore didn't make that one exactly. Yeah. Even though
now you have to repaint the entire thing.
The entire apartment because he didn't want anything on the floor. I didn't know this. He wanted everything on the walls. So him wanting things up, asking me, could I have... So now I have a new policy, by the way. No hanging up nothing. You want to hang something up, you're going to pay for it on the way out.
Yeah,
I can't deal. I'm going to deal with this. I like to be fair, but if you're going to go and take your Nadeschkeiten and expect I have to pay a few $1,000 on your way out, I'm losing 1 month's rent for that. It's not worth it. You got to be a man.
He asked, "Can I hang some things on this wall?" Oh, what's the problem? I hung a window into the wall. What's the problem?
You have, for instance, behind you those dampers over there, right? I don't know if you hang them up with a sticky thing. So when you take it down, if it was on a thing, it's going to leave a mark. Right. Now, if you have a whole bunch of those, you're going to have to repaint the place, Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
This is a recent situation.
Right. So nowadays there's certain things that are, the mezuzah is going to be his thing, but it's like a mica. Generally speaking, we don't let the tenants build things like this. The guy we did fine. So so this he does from itself. Again, this is not talking about nowadays. Nowadays, the understanding in rentals is much different. V'hu hadin kol davar says the Rama she'ena ma'isa uman. Which again, putting up a mica nowadays is a ma'isa uman, and not only that, there's codes and things like this for how all these things have to be done. So it's taka ma'isa uman. But the bottom line is the Rama says again, so that's really the bottom line here is what are the, again, it's not that's bistam. The smartest thing is, like Avi is saying, is whatever you can have in the contract so that there's no room for later having to figure it out is better. But let's say something's not in there, what do you do? Let's say you're dealing with Ayid, and then listen, at the end of the day, we have to do business with a certain way, even with a guy. But certainly, if we have another yid, we want to make sure that he's not. I'm being fair, and we come to our Rav and say, listen, here's the deal. This particular thing we didn't put in the contract. It wasn't in the contract, and he understood it this way, and I understood it this way. What do we do? So the Rav what the Rav would have to figure out is what is the minhag medina in this thing.
So to mitigate that, to protect yourself, I always write, should you want a certain request, it must be in writing. Because
Right.
I don't want in 2 years from now, you're going to say, well, you told me over the phone. Well, the contract says that if I did tell you anything, it must be in writing. So
Right.
if you didn't stick to this, you can't do anything.
Right.
It's mamish from experience, not from any legal type of schooling, you know.
Right. And there's a balance. It's almost like there's a certain amount of stuff that I'm already going to incorporate into the price of rental because I'm going to assume already that there's going to be X, Y, and Z amount to take care of, and no matter who was in there, no matter who moves out, I'm just going to include that. And then on top of that, there's a lot of like these,
I have a girl that recently started renting, and it's 4 days into it, or 5 days into the rent, and for the first month after she made that first initial deposit, I still haven't gotten paid. I sent her a courtesy thing. We haven't paid. She said, it's okay. I'm going to pay on the 5th. I was like, well, the rent's due on the 1st. So I don't know. In New York City, where I can't, I'm not in New York, I'm in New York State. I'm in Long Island.
yeah.
In New York City, legally, you can pay up to the 5th, and it's not considered late. I was like, I don't know what it says in New York City,
Right.
but you gotta.
I know what we agreed on here.
So she wants to get technical now. I said, do me a favor. I'm not charging you anything extra here. Any late fees, that's another thing, by the way. Late fees, we spoke about it, if it's or not if I have a clause over there. If you pay late, and this for legal reasons also, it should be late. It shouldn't be considered a penalty, but it should be considered factored in as rent.
Right. Right.
That's another thing.
Why, if it's a knas, it's ribis. Who says that? It's a knas. Just as a deterrent.
For one thing,
as a deterrent. You remember not to be late. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's not clear to me yet. Maybe we're now in this section. It'll. I know one thing, that if you overdo it, the tenant can take you to court and say, "Hey, look, you overdid on the knas." And now there's a whole section on the knas rules. So what are you going to do? So the best thing lawyers do, I only learned this from one of my brokers. It should be factored in as incurred rent, and that's it for paying late. Be considered rent.
You want to cup of tea before I leave? You want tea?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so now the sochar al dash yesh mezuzis v'gilush she'ein mezuzis. So now that we said that it's the tenant's responsibility to put mezuzis, but what if when he rented it with the understanding that there would be mezuzis, right? Because everything we're talking about is bistam. So what happens if he was under the understanding would be mezuzis? Kosav haramah behilchis mezuzah. Right, so it's in Yeredeya. Oh, just by the way, an interesting thing to note is note 33 on the bottom of page 12. Yeshe kosva shemitzvahs maikum mutelas ala seicher midei kemei mezuzah. Ach yesh shekosva shemidei raisa hamitzvah mutelas al hamaskir. Right? Elo chashachacham mechivus haseicher kedei shelo yisrashel. Over Micah shall mirpeses lekuli alma achiyuv ala maskir. Kivan shu maisa uman u'meikari shiva sadira. V'yesh laniach shall das kein socher haseicher sadira. So again, he's saying the same thing also, that with a Micah nowadays, you're muted.
No, you're muted.
a mica of a porch is Maise Uman, right? And that's a chiyuv on the masking midoraisa, or that's also
Yeah, no, why?
midrabanan?
No, why? Because it's a Maisa Uman. So anything that's a Maisa
Maise
Uman,
Uman, right. So
automatically
what
becomes
kind of mica are we talking about over here? I think the ones in
nowadays, I think any Maika would be a Maisa Uman.
I tell you, we used to live in a high ranch at one time. It means that as you come into the house, you walk up like 4-5 stairs, and then you have the main house, right? But then there's a little bar of the steps going up. Avrami, you remember that round? There was bars round the entrance or not as you came into the house.
Oh, it's like a round patio like this where the stairs come in.
Something like that, yeah. So there was we did make it a little higher because it wasn't 10 tefachim. Or maybe we did because of the kids. We added a metal thing around it.
Right.
The banister?
Do you remember the bars round which face the kitchen and the dining room? So what's that?
Yeah.
So I think that wasn't my Uman, so we ended up paying for it. I mean, it was our house anyway, but I'm saying theoretically, if that wouldn't have been
Right.
our house, so we would have been mechuyev to do that. It's not like a major work. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's like something that you do yourself. You could,
Right.
so I could see what you mean. There's a difference between a mic and my Uman and not. I'm just thinking out loud.
Right. It's also like when we're talking about on a porch, right? That's that on a porch that's like 3 stories high. So first of all, there's codes that has to be according to, and has to make sure it's in somebody should lean on it, that has to have. So this is a nice omen, right? If it's like a place that's mom is just, you know what I'm saying? It's not like my, just on a lower like this, right? Yeah. So the Rama writes Behilchos Mezuzah, right? It's in Yerideya. It's a funny story actually. Somebody not a Lubavitcher, and he was looking to staff me a little bit something. So he asked me something about his question was if his mezuzah was down for does he have to make a brach when he puts it back up? So basically the way it was, it passed overnight and it was 24 hours. So the holidays, yeah. But anyways, he wanted because he figures, the Bavitcher doesn't know Mishnah Brura, right? So he's gonna which he's very wrong. because it turns out I'm very what's it called? I feel that without Mishnah Brura you don't understand the what's going on.
He's very good. He's very, very good. He's very, very clear. It's very easy Hebrew.
And he brings and he explains what he explains the whole svara behind it very clear.
Before I came to Lubavitch, from a very young age, I'm talking about 10, 11, 12, I was already learning Mr. Brewer. The Hebrew was easy. We could anybody who knew a little bit of Hebrew could read it.
Anyway, so he told me, so he wanted to try to stack. And what does Mishnah Brura say? So I told him certainly. I told him mezuzah isn't Yeda Deya, and certainly a misnagid like you should know that Mishnah Brura is only on Eira Chaim. What does the Mishnah Brura say?
You remind me of.
It's in Yeda Deya, not Eira Chaim.
I saw something by Moreina once. Avraham Yor was visiting Boston. I happened to be there in Boston by a friend. And after davening, he davened very long, so it was quite a while after there was a misnagid there. He said, let me see this Hasidic Shayid who likes davening for many hours, if he knows anything or not. So he got him off guard. He asked him a kasha bo metzia.
Yeah.
He happened to be, I think it was a kasha of, one of the achronim. And he turned around, he says, Shem zech nish fragen azah kasha. The guy goes, Frau, ist das schlechte Kasche? Ob du willst fragen, ja, frag besser. And he compounded that Kasche. I saw by Moireinai. The guy says, oh, aber was ist der? Sie du begnügen sich mit der kleinen Kaschele. Es ist ja so klein, Briskerov fragt es. Aber ich frag, ich habe gefragt, besser wie Briskerov sind nicht. Ja. Aber was ist der Empfer? He says, okay, they're giving an emphasis. Once he was saying that, he was thinking of the teretz. Because I don't believe that, he was a genius. I heard from Zalman Shimon Dvorkin, Olav Hashem, that Avram Mayor in Nigla, in Haloch and everything, he was a Chiddush in Lubavitch. I mean, in the early days, like Talmud Rashab, he was a genius. So I'm just saying that confrontations like you had have been
right. It's they're very regular. No, but it's one of I think nowadays with in the information age, I think less. But it was a big what's it called, a thing that the misunderstanding that they think that that Lubavitch is sitting in Hasidus and don't learn Nigla. Right? We know. I think it was the Rabbi Rashabu said that Tomim has to know. Before the Hasidus makes a difference, you have to know Nigla. Better than a Litvak. You have to know Nigla. So anyway, continuing. So the Ramah says in Hilchot Mezuzah, "Afilu imaseicher soch is a bais bechezka sheyesh bei mezuzos, v'gilo she'ein bei mezuzos, ein ze mekach to'us, kivon shehamitzvah mutelis alav v'lo yala maskil." So even if he's renting it with the understanding there would be mezuzos, and there were no mezuzos, it turns out it's not a mekach to'us. Why? Because the chiyuv is on him. The anu aimdim as daite. And we assume, meaning we're assuming for him his intention, that certainly he was willing to live in this house even if it didn't have mezuzis. He was willing to move in. And he would have to buy them and put them on. Why? A person prefers to do the mitzvah by himself with his money and personally with his body. And even though he's saying no, I wanted it to be mezuzah there already, right? And he's saying it's a mekach. Even though he's saying that right? We're done lekav schus on him, even though he's not done lekav schus on himself. That he agreed to this, even though he didn't.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's really what you wanted.
Like, right. Like the same thing as by a get, Bepnimius will sein Chayid. So, I guess I've seen people who rent and they bring their own mezuzahs with them and they give the mezuzahs to the guy, right? And they say, listen, when I leave the apartment, you clap your mezuzahs back again. I want to have my own mezuzahs. I have these. I know people like that. People are makpid. They're
mezuzahs. They don't know what. They
don't know what kind of mezuzahs. They could be mitzvah mezuzahs, for they know.
Right. No, not just that. Let's say as a landlord, if I'm required to have mezuzahs, I'll get whatever the basic mehudir. Whatever. I'm going to get whatever they are nowadays, $36, $40, whatever. I'm not going to get the $80, $90, $100 ones.
So I used to do that, by the way. I used to get the cheap ones. My muzzle went bad. And I said, I'm getting good ones, and that's it.
No, but these are. I'm not talking about like cheap. What's it called? I'm talking about.
You can't find
cheap muhuddin. I'm talking about the lowest level muhuddin. Like what's it called?
You're not going to find them at $40 anymore. After post-COVID, they're all $120 and up. Ta, is that correct?
No, they have the basic.
With I know that Rebbe wanted the mitzvah mezuzahs, but I doubt. I mean, I'm not a sofer, but I know Hilchos Mezuzah and I know Hilchos Stam. It was a busha what they were giving out for the friar. Really a big busha. They didn't have to. Listen, if shluchim cannot do it better than that, I'm not going to tell the shluchim how to run their business, but it was awful, really awful. I mean, I don't know if we're doing a friar the teva by giving him a bediavad.
Not just that. Is it really going to make a difference to the guy if you tell him $24 or $40? If it's $150 already, but let's say a $40, $50 mezuzah, it's not big, it's whatever, it's the regular size, right? Yeah. And it's a regular mehuddin mezuzah. It's not the best. Fine, but give. By the way, this is why I think it's machon stam, right?
Yeah.
He had what he called basic muhudir, right? When everybody else was selling you a $24, $26. They started at 4, maybe now they're 50, 60. I don't know. The same one. But he refused to sell lower than this. He said, this is a proper kosher mezuzah. And he said, I'm not selling lower. And not only that, he would sell them basically at cost. He wouldn't make money on those.
There was a whole thing on
What?
COL.
So because he wanted to make them available to people at a decent, what's it called? But he said, I'm sorry, but cheaper than this, it's already not it's not a proper mezuzah, basically.
So this stirred up a lot of trouble among the seifrim or the sellers, the shop owners in Crown Heights at that time when that came out, because the other guy said, "What are you implying, that we're not kosher?" And they were all opening up their scrolls.
I remember that.
Remember that? And some genie, some kind said, he bought one and said, "Look, I just bought this from this price, not even kosher," or something like that.
Right.
something like that happened back in the day.
So this is two things. First of all, if right mitzad hana, right, you're required, right? We just learned, even if you're not the seller or whatever, you're required to, if there's a thing with a pagam, you're required to tell people, right? Allah has kama v'kama when we're talking about mezuzahs and things like this, right? So that's A. And B, especially when it comes to stam, right? Like where usually you have a problem of taking business from somebody. When it comes to stam and tater things, we encourage competition. Adrabah. Adrabah, it should be the best possible. So
each one of these mezuzahs I have over here, about $210. I said, even in my apartments, I'm not risking the bad mazel. I'm keeping it. It's mine.
I'm telling you, I've seen this. I've seen this before. I had pushed. I had, what's it called? I had a construction business that, like, it was like everything that could possibly go south went south. Like in a miraculous way. Now, so there's two explanations. One of them is in the beginning, I was hiring all Yidden. And it was people who were moving to town. The funny thing is, they weren't as good as the people later, but they needed jobs, so I gave the jobs. No, then that kufa finished. There was nobody else moving. They all found stuff more ideal for them.
Sure.
So basically the purpose of my business went away. I didn't need it anymore for that. So everything went south. But bichlal, everything, what's it called? Everything I tried, and then I spoke to Mendel Morozov.
Yeah. Sure.
He said with mezuzahs, what's it called? He goes check and finally I checked. He said, you know what? I'm getting just all brand new mezuzahs for my entire house, and I'm telling you, the second I put those mezuzahs up, everything
changed. Sure.
I never got back into that business, but things went. It became even better. I was able to get into this business. So.
So Baruch Hashem, we're able to sit and learn at the midday, as if the world doesn't exist. So, from
the Pri Chodosh, it comes out shedin zehu rak b'mikra sha'aseicher hiniach sheyesh b'bayis mezuzis kivon shekach mekubal, right? Because that's the norm. So that's why he assumed there would be mezuzis. Oy afilu k'sha'maskir omar befeirosh b'shas hachasimo ala cheza. Sheyesh bebayis mezuzis, v'aseicher shosak. Right, the landlord said his mezuzis, and the tenant was quiet. Avol im haseicher atzmai hisna befeirosh, shehu seicher es abayis al dash yesh be mezuzis. Right, so even if the landlord, he asked the landlord, is the mezuzis? He said, yeah. It's still too bad. But if then the tenant says, no, I want to make sure because I'm dafka renting this place, I'll das it as mezuzis in there. The achar kach gilush ain't be mezuzis. Rasha yasech litin lemekach tos. Why? Because in this case he was very clear that despite all of our svaris that we're saying, he was very clear that I'm dafka only renting this place if it has mezuzis, if it includes mezuzis. The eine mechuyev lisker es abayis af. al av shechasmu al acheza, I also kinyan al aschirus. And even if they signed on it, even if they made a kinyan, he's not required to he can walk away. Why? It's mekach tos. Right, so that comes out from the Pri Chodesh. Ulam, however, that's not the halacha. Ulam Magen Avram v'Shulchan Aruch Harav, right, which is not surprising. Generally speaking, Shulchan Aruch Harav follows Magen Avram to the point where in the Madura Basra, one of the reasons that he did it is he felt that in the Madura Kama, he felt that he over relied on the Magen Avram. And that was one of the reasons for the Madura Basra. שסייכל is a bais al da sheyesh bei mezuzis v'gilu she'ein bei mezuzis eini yochel litin mekachtos mitam hanal she'anu emdim daite she'hoyamuchim lisker afil le mezuzis, right? Even though he's saying no, but I befeirush, I told you I don't want to move in if there's no mezuzis. Says the Alter Rebbe b'shem Magen Avraham, I don't care. We like the Chazan Senior said before. we're that bepnimius. You want to do the mitzvah. I don't care what you said. I don't care what you signed on. I don't care what you said befeirush. You as a Jew want to do the mitzvah yourself. That's
it's nice. Oirische beiso. Das ist der einzige Problem. Oirische beiso. The Mendel Futterfass went to once on a time on the Fifth Avenue when I was in the tanks together. I was there. I went up to this man in the middle of the street, and I said he wants to put a film, very elegantly dressed, 6.5 foot tall, a Yid. I didn't know he was a Hamish. He wasn't from the end of Yarmulke. He starts talking to me in Yiddish, Litvische Yiddish. He says, "Ich habe gelernt in der Mira Yeshiva vor der Krieg. Ich habe verloren in meine ganze Mischproche und ich glaube, dass der Eibische existiert, aber ich will ihm machen im Bekas," he says to me. Und ich will nicht schlägen Tfilin. So I couldn't say anything. I was there for words. Mendel Futterfass was there. He says, "What geht vor da?" So he says, "Efter wird reden mit der Yid." And Mendel says, "What is ich habe gelernt in der Miri Yeshiva 16 Jahre," he says, since he was a little kid. Noch sind die Nazis gekommen, der Läufer verloren meine ganze Mischproche. So Mendel says, "Let me get fast spazier." He goes for a walk around 5th and 42nd.
Yeah.
Around the block, he finished in 43rd. We were parked in 42nd and 5th, and he came back and put on film. So I asked her, Mendel, no? He says, "Das darf sein bei den Jahren zu rennen mit der Yid. Weil ich habe gemacht Zores, ich habe gesehen Zores, mir hat gesehen Zores." But the point is, Bepnimius hat gewollt, I just wasn't the right person to
you had to be Megalith, yeah.
No, but Mendel did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. The Pnimi Savayid, he wants to do the mitzvah. So
Yeah, sometimes
we
he
can
says
see by the
crazy
Alter Rebbe, this is how he holds. Then Ad Kidei Kach, that even he signed on it, even he was befeirush in every possible way he could be befeirush. Doesn't make a difference.
That's it. Oh, he could have zeitige Sachen, and he wants to be a miser. He wants to, but this is more important. To be an Alachid is more important.
So now Isur Asora Samezuzis Bazivus Aseicher in the continuation of the Gemara there in Bab Metzia, Taner Rabbanon,
Somebody died over there. Remember?
Where?
In Bab Metzia, there's a story that the guy left and he died. He had Tzoros afterwards.
Yeah. No, that's the Gemara. This Gemara.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That's this Gemara. Yeah.
Oh yeah, here it is. Look, not to be other. Mais Bechot Shesorge, here it is. Yeah.
When he leaves, Lo Yitlena B'Yatei, right? Umin Nachri, then Neitel B'Yatei. Mais Be'echod, right? Seicher B'Bayis Yisrael, Shenotl B'Yatei V'Kovar Ishte Yushtei Bonov. Yeah, exactly. That Gemara.
Yeah.
The question now is, what's the reason for this? Right? You're taking down this mezuzah that was being used for a mitzvah, and now it's not being used. It's busy mitzvah. Avol im keveas hamezuzah bevayis acher mutar, according to the Geinim.
Yeah, because he's putting it in the new house
Putting
where
it
he's
back up,
moving.
so you're not thinking vasa the mezuzah from being able to do a mitzvah. Omnam ateisvis kosvu shetam hu mepnei shemazikim boim lebayis shein be mezuzah. V'hanait legeidim nezek shemishi yogad babayis. When you take the mezuzah, after mazikim come in, you're endangering the next guy. V'arit v'kos avatam mipnei shechol kedushas hashchina bevayzeh ve'in nesalka. When mezuzah is on a house, the shchina rests in the house, and then you can't remove the shchina. Lefi hatamim shel hatesis v'aritva or iser hu gam b'mikra shekeveas hamezuzah b'bayis acher. Right, according to the Geinim, as long as you put up the mezuzah somewhere else, you're fine. According to the Teisvis and the Ritva, it doesn't make a difference. Din zeh huval haloch b'shulchan aruch b'hilchos mezuzah haseicher bayis mechaveri haseicher chayav likbeya b'mezuzah or the sakin makim kiviyusa. When he leaves, he cannot take it with him. The same thing is not just for a tenant, but also somebody who sells it to another Jew, obviously. Sure. That's in
Shulchan Aruch also, the Hu Hadin, or that's he's saying it himself?
Yeah. I don't think he says it there. I don't know if he says there, but that he's taking it somewhere else. He doesn't say from where he's taking it though.
Okay, fine. So we have to look it up.
But it's the same concept, meaning, and for the same reason. I still have the problem of bizu mitzvah. I still have the problem of mazikim shouldn't come in. I still have the problem of what's it called? Not to remove the shechina from the house.
Yeah.
Another Jews coming in. Bircha Yosef Kosav shebemikra shel shas adchak she'ena matzliach lohasik mezuzah lebay she'ever elov. I can't get mezuzahs, or I can't get proper mezuzahs, whatever it is. So efshir lismich al shitas ageinim hanal lahavris hamezuzah el bayis she'ever elov. As long as he's putting it up in the new house.
The Birkei Yosef over here, you're talking in Yerideo or in Erechaim?
It is.
I'm sorry for being so petty. I just happen to have the Birkei Yosef at home and I want to look it up.
I'll tell you in a second. I'm guessing would be Yerideo, because
it says here Perek Gimel. So
in theory it would be Yerideo Reish Sadik Aleph.
Reish Sadik Aleph, yeah, because it doesn't say, it should have said Shom, whatever,
Right. Or
okay, fine.
Or he told us as a Choshen Mishpat. But so far, no. Yes, I'm guessing.
I mean, if you tell me it's Reish Sadik Aleph, I have it with me. I would like to look it up.
But it looks like that's what it would be. It looks like it would be Reish Sadik Aleph Sifkat and Gimel. That's where I'm I'm taking them off and leaving, and you're moving in and putting them up right away. Right? Even though what's the difference? There's no mazikim. Right away, I'm taking them off, and he's going to put his on.
So let him take yours off. That's a pshat. With the Birkei Yosef
right. That's the solution.
The solution. Let him take it off and then put it on.
That's the solution. Right now he's saying, but you can't take them off.
On the smach that the guy's moving on the same day or 2 days later.
Right now, I'm taking them. He's putting them.
No, let him do it.
Why loy plug?
The plug, yeah.
Asr b'chol eifen ad kan mi Birkei Yosef. So that's until they're the words of the Birkei Yosef. Now, like you just said, ha'etza ha'maisis b'mikra kazeh shehadayir ha'nichnas yikbas mezuzah Yosef kama yom la'ach shenichnas v'yachzid lo'yetzei es mezuzah Yosef. He should wait a few days. Then he should put on his mezuzahs and give you back your mezuzahs.
Really? He should have to wait 30 days.
In theory, yeah.
In theory, because he would have to make a bracha. Or he would have to put all his on, except for one, and then change one or something like that.
Yeah.
In Chutz La'aretz al Kopanim, no? I don't know if that's a throw, what the story is. Agreed or not?
Yeah, or you would have to leave them off for 24 hours.
Okay.
Because then you're mechuyev, or leave one off for 24 hours. Whatever.
Yeah, one.
leave one off for 24 hours or overnight, depending on the svara. But let's say to be yates on both svaras.
Why do I see in Lubavitch they put everything up except at the end of 30 days they take one down and they put one on. That's the way you fit in Lubavitch.
Why? Because that's when your chiyuv is.
That's when the chiyuv starts for 30 days. That's in Chutz La'aretz, but in Eretz Yisrael, Datzach made right away. I think no, or you heard different.
That's only with a rental. 30 days is only with a rental. If you buy a place, the chiyuv starts immediately.
So in a rent, some people wait 30 days. Maybe
And what about in Eretz
In
Yisrael?
Eretz Yisrael, it's immediate.
even renting?
Even rental.
renting.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So so that's the eitzah. Yesh letzayin shebemikra shasecher hayetza yamecher kava bebayis mezuzis mehudaris v'miyuchad. We should note that what if, right? We were just talking about the expensive mezuzis. What if you have specifically expensive mezuzis? L'das harbe mipeskis manenu reshoy litlon ulegve b'mekaymen mezuzis pshutis. He can, while he's still living there, say a few days before he leaves, take down those ones and put on, regular kosher mezuzis.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, why? Because l'divrayim lay plug, right? This lay plug that we're talking about, that the chachamim were aser b'chol makim. Shayich b'mikra shel shnei anoshim. We're talking about when there's two people. I'm leaving and you're coming in. Shebazeh gazru chazal shema hasheni yisrashel. What if we have to worry that maybe the second guy is going to be negligent? Right? So then made it lay plug labanan. Sharishan made it lay plug labanan. Right? In that case, even though he's putting him up right away, so you don't have to worry he's going to be negligent. But in this case, lay plug labanan. Aval shekasher hakol nasa idea daira yetze. But if I'm taking them down and putting them up while I'm still in the house, there's no gezeda on this at all. I'm not to take down and put up my mezuzahs. The whole gezeda is when I'm leaving and somebody else is coming in.
Right.
So therefore, but better he doesn't do it immediately. He should do it like at least a few days before he leaves the house.
Can I ask you a question? When you have a new person coming in, he also said he should do it a few days before he leaves, right?
Yeah.
The new guy should put his mezuzahs before he moves.
The new guy should put his mezuzahs up a few days. Why? So then you're not coming close to it looks like I'm taking them up and you're putting you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very good.
So it's just to make it clear that I'm taking down either whoever it is, either way, that I'm taking down and putting up my own mezuzahs, or he's taking down and putting up his own mezuzahs, to make sure there's no mix of it being taken down when it's in my rishus and it's going up when it's in your rishus.
Right.
So we said.
And also, I don't think I think the time lapse is also put into. There's no time lapse like this, right? Isn't that a consideration? There shouldn't be a time lapse, or that's not even spoken about.
No. Maybe. I'm thinking, what would be if it happens right away? I don't know if it would make a difference. Maybe he's talking about if you do it right away, mamish, like you take them down, putting them up. Either way, but he's saying, but then what it looks like basically we're doing even though if it's the funny thing is if it's a few days, it doesn't look like a workaround, but whatever. That's the So
yeah, okay.
How about now? We're going back to expenses, partnered expenses in a partnered building, right? Joint expenses in a common building. Right? The tenant is chayiv to pay the what do they call it, the HOA fees or whatever it is. And also, right, if everybody's paying in to cleaning of the
landscaping,
gardening, landscaping. and all other joint expenses that all the tenants pay for keeping up the condominium.
This is all maintenance fees.
Yeah, yeah.
Maintenance fees. That's what they are.
All right. So you can't say so meaning a tenant can't say, "Oh, I don't care." No, you're what's it called? You're part of the ownership. You have a joint interest. You have to pay the same like everybody else.
Like, is it co-op or condominium? No, something like that.
Yeah, like a condominium. Yeah, either or. I think.
Yeah.
That in these things you're paying for their use. Right? Like before that we were talking about, like the landlord is mechuyev to make sure it's a proper place to live. But that there's a nice garden, the landlord isn't mechuyev with it, right? By the way, this was like a question that would come by snow removal and things like this, right?
Yeah.
Is mechuyev in the snow removal. Again, and nowadays all that's going to be specified in a contract. Who needs to do the upkeep and who needs to do the snow removal and all this.
But snow removal, it's not livable. You can't get your car in and out of the driveway.
Whatever you could walk in the snow. It's okay. Also walk in a garden that has a lot of grass. It's not considered the use of the building.
Right.
Who says you have to go out?
Right. Bleib in the home and sitzen lernen.
But and again, the truth is not nowadays it would go by what's common in that area.
Yeah.
Who usually has to do this thing, right? Like for example, my daughter's in an apartment building.
Yeah.
So and you would say, so she has to deal with the note because the way it works, what's it called, is the landlord takes care of that. Why? Because that's in the contract. The landlord
contract is in the contract, you know.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a difference. Doesn't even make a difference what the norm is at that point.
Right.
But let's say bistam. So the haseicher who's Hashem mishtamish v'nei midvarim elu v'chein im konu mezuzah l'knisa shel habinyan. Right. Okay, so whose responsibility is that? Now now you can't say it's the seichers. Right, because
he has to be mishtatev.
He has a joint, right? It's a joint chiyuv. Haseicher chayav l'shalim. So he's not the only one who's living there. Fine, but jointly with everybody else, he's chayav on his part. But if they decided to paint the stairs, or anything else that has to do with mamish the building itself, right? Not with usage. Hatashlum mutal ala maskir. Now the landlord has to take care of that. It's his property. It's a capital improvement to his property.
Yeah.
Again, so the landlord obviously is there to make money, so he's gonna include that in the charges and when he figures that out. But the bottom line is when it comes, he decides to make capital improvements, right? Then he can't go to the tenant and say, "Oh, I need more money because I'm making a capital improvement." Again, but all of this is superseded by what's the norm, and all of that is superseded by what's in the agreement. And say Stolik Masad, what's it called? Mifkosh 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see. Maybe tomorrow we can do if people are available. Maybe we can do Chazara a little bit of and maybe
sure. After tonight's share, no?
Yeah, maybe we could like do Chazara, but like after, right, and do like maybe like Mechaber HaMashach Shach Esmeh.
By the way, I've been pressuring Shai Crombie to give us the marks of the test, and he told me he's going to have it ready by tomorrow.
I would pressure him if I was quite finished with it already, but
huh?
I would pressure him too if I was quite finished with it already.
I've waited sometimes.
I should probably stop the recording before I say that, but.
No, I told him, it was supposed to be done a week or two after we gave it in. So it's already, then they said after Hanukkah, and now this. So I've been calling him every
really
week.
It's not a week yet, because really they gave until because there was 2 Wednesdays off. So really it's only now by this, really it's only today they're due.
Yeah, but
With some courses I've waited months.
And it's very often they take longer.
but it's I don't know. He
We don't want to
claims
be in suspense.
how many
Did
people
all
gave
right.
how many people gave the tests in? How
Probably
many,
probably most people.
I know, like how many we're talking about? 40 people, 50 people,
Yeah, so probably 30 some gave it in.
30 something.
I think
Okay.
there are 60 registered.
It's just me and two more
60
people.
registered. Okay. Okay. He said to me, I just got a text now that it's going to be ready by tomorrow.
Okay.
Niske venire.
Yeah, it is giving it.
It's probably only yours.
No, he said he wouldn't give me mine. He said he wouldn't give me mine without everybody else's.
Yeah.
He says he said that someone marked already a week or two ago, but now he says now by tomorrow everybody will have his mark. Listen, I'm going back to what he's told. I don't put anything on him, but he was told that, and that's it.
Yeah, 100%. Not
You did all right. Don't worry about it.